All right, good evening, everybody. We're going to start the agenda portion of the meeting. Silence your phones, please, if you have them on. Thank you. Ordinance, first reading, 501, ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the City of New Brunswick, Chapter 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 10, 12, Traffic Regulations. Section numbers 10, 12, 210, Schedule 21, mid-block crosswalks, George Street. Resolutions, 536, approve agenda amendments. 537, approve payroll. 538, authorize refund for deemed tax sale certificates. Reorganization matters. 539, authorize establishment of petty cash accounts for various departments. 540, authorize professional service agreement. William J. Hamilton Jr., Special Counsel PSA for 2015, not to exceed $30,000, fair and open. 541, authorize professional service agreement. Charlie Gaden, Esquire, Assistant City Attorney, PSA for 2015, not to exceed $30,000, fair and open. 542, authorized professional service agreement with Bausch Zucker Hatfield, LLC, for 2015 Labor Council, not to exceed $25,000, fair and open. 543, authorized professional service agreement with Hoagland, Longo, Morantz, Dunks, Dukas, LLP, for 2015 Special Counsel for Tax Appeals, Division of Assessments, not to exceed $50,000. Fair and open. 544, authorized professional service agreement with DeFrancesco, Bateman, Coley, Yaspic, Cussman, Davis, Lear, and Flora. I think we forgot a few names. For 2015, Special Counsel for Tax Appeals, Conflicts Division of Assessments, not to exceed $5,000. Fair and open. 545, authorized professional service agreement with BRB Valuation and Consulting Services. 2015 Real Property Appraisal Services for Tax Appeals, Division of Assessments, not to exceed $50,000, fair and open. 546, authorized professional service agreement with Realty Appraisal Co., 2015 Property Inspection Services, Division of Assessments, not to exceed $10,000, fair and open. 547, authorized professional service agreement with Civil Solutions, a division of Adams, Raymond and Hayden Associates Incorporated, for 2015 tax map maintenance and GIS maintenance services, Division of Assessments, not to exceed $40,000, fair and open. 548, authorized professional service agreement with Spatial Data Logic Incorporated for 2015 maintenance and support services for municipal software, Division of Assessments, not to exceed $35,000, fair and open. 549, authorized professional service agreement with Vital Communications Incorporated for 2015 tax assessment computer program and technical support and associated printing, binding, and mailing services, Division of Assessments, not to exceed $20,000, fair and open. 550, authorized professional service agreement with First Bite Corporation for 2015 tax, water, and sewer billing and collection software maintenance and software support services, not to exceed $28,415, fair and open. 551, authorized professional service agreement with Hatchmont McDonald Holdings Incorporated, doing business as Hatchmont McDonald LLC, for 2015 engineering and support services for water utility, not to exceed $110,000, fair and open. $552, award professional service agreement with Remington, Vernick, and Venna for 2015 engineering site inspections for approved site plans funded by escrow, fair and open. 553, authorized professional service agreement with Willents Goldman Spitzer for 2015 bond counsel, amount is $30,000, fair and open. 554, authorized professional service agreement with Senior Klein Company for 2015 municipal order, not to exceed $87,125, fair and open. 555, approve amendment of Resolution R 011530, advising consent to Community Arts Council appointment. Name, Tracy O'Reggio, expires December 31st, 2017, 2 year. That's the end of the reorganization matters, and we go to 559, approve transfer of taxi license number 33 from Maroon and Maroon, 50% to Mustafa Bagati. 560, approved request for street closing requested by the State Theater, location Livingston Avenue between New and George Streets, for annual Hope City Carnival and 9th Annual Family Day. Date, Monday, February 16, 2015. Time, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Police extra duty. 561, approved request for use of city property requested by Rutgers Hillel, Location, Duval Park and Pavilion for 5K run and walk and 1 mile run and walk. Date, Sunday, April 19, 2015. Time, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. 562, approved request for street closing, requested by Douglas College, Take Back the Night. Location is George Street, Somerset Street, and College Avenue for annual march and rally to protest assault and violence against women and genderized violence. Date is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2015, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. 563, approve emergency temporary appropriations for 2015. 564, authorize tax collector to transfer credits on several tax and utility accounts. 565, approve award of contract with Gibraltar Transmissions for transmission repair services for the police department. Term, 12-month period commencing January 22nd, 2015 and ending January 21st, 2016. Specification number 422-15P, not to exceed $20,000. 566, authorized purchase by police department under state contract number A81348 from Lanigan Associates Incorporated for 1 bulletproof vest for the police department, not to exceed $740.30. 567, approve award of contract with Fisher Contracting Incorporated for milling of various city streets for the Department of Public Works. Term, 12-month period commencing January 22nd, 2015 and ending January 21st, 2016. Rebid specification number 38914PR, not to exceed $57,680. 568, approve amendment of resolution R 091465, reason increased and unanticipated expenditures with DGL Raftopoulos Incorporated, doing business as Mako Collision Repair and Auto Painting for automotive body repairs for the police department. Specification number 368-14P, amount of $12,000. Approval of this change order constitute an increase of 20% of the original contract. 569, approve request for use of city property requested by American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Location, Duval Park and Pavilion for 3-mile walkathon. Date, Sunday, October 4th, 2015, 7:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. 570, approve amendment to resolution R 111456, reason to pay additional legal fees in the amount of $2,074 to Lawrence Bitterman Esquire for police officer Daniel Mazan in the matter of Deloche Senior Barry Estate of the City of New Brunswick from $9,596.50 to $11,670.50. 571, approve appointment of counsel Lawrence Bitterman Esquire for representation of Officer Henry Glittone in the matter of Willie Jarvis versus City of New Brunswick, not to exceed $5,000. 572, approve amendment of resolution R 031454, reason to extend 2013 contract with the County of Middlesex for 2015 for information assistance services, Senior Citizen Resource Center. Amount to be received, $5,000. 573, approve amendment of resolution R 031455, reason to extend 2013 contract with the County of Middlesex for 2015 for congregate meal services, Senior Citizen Resource Center. Amount to be received, $10,000. 574, approve award of contract and authorization to reject 1 bid for furnish and deliver chemicals for bulk feed facilities with Greer Lime Company, Univar USA Incorporated, Chem Trade Chemicals US LLC, George S. Chemical. Term, 12-month period commencing February 1, 2015 and ending January 31st, 2016. Specification number 106-2015W, not to exceed $830,268. 575, approve renewal of contract with National Vision Administrators for vision plan for city employees. Term, January 1st, 2015, December 31st, 2015, not to exceed $49,000. 576, approval amendment of resolution R 071412, reason additional funds for December 2014 employee health benefits claim with Aetna US Healthcare, traditional and POS contract. Term, July 1st, 2014 to July 30th, 2015, the amount is $78,030. 577, approve amendment of resolution R 071411, reason additional legal fees for December 2014 employee health benefit claims with Cigna Healthcare, HMO. Term, July 1st, 2014 to June 30th, 2015, amount is $51,000. 578, Approve authorization for submission and acceptance of grant with Middlesex County for 2015-2016 New Brunswick Alliance on Substance Abuse Prevention. Case match, $11,009. Grant, $44,034. 579, approve payment to Charles A. Taduni Esquire for arbitration fees for FMBA Local 217, not to exceed $2,180.10. 580, authorize participation in a cooperative purchasing program with Keystone Purchasing Network, Milton, PA. 581, approve request for use of city property requested by the Lust Garden Foundation location, Beulah Park Pavilion and Track for fundraiser walk to benefit pancreatic cancer research. Date, Sunday, October 18, 2015, time 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. 582, approve off-premise raffle, merchandise gifts at 77 Church Street, New Brunswick, for Portage Point Special Advocates of New Brunswick, CASA. Date, June 15, 2015. 583, approve amendment of resolution R21491, change order number 2 with Jack Construction Corporation, trading as Diamond Construction for concrete ramps and other concrete work at various locations. Specification number 849-14, amount $18,760. Approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. 584, approve amendment of resolution R121354. Reason, schedule of payments for professional services rendered by municipalities to reflect year 2015. For schedule of payment to city engineer pursuant to municipal land use law. 585, approve amendment of resolution R111362. Reason, amend salary rates for various city personnel for New Jersey DOT Route 18 and Route 1 improvement projects. 586, approve a relaxation of the city limits requested by 70 Collins Avenue LLC. Reason, complete work at Rutgers Hillel Student Center. Dates are Saturday, February 7, 14, 21, 28, 2015. Time is 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. 587, approve amendment of resolution R061431. Reason, extension of relaxation of city doors requested by Tishman Construction Corporation of New Jersey. Reason, Saturday work at 135 Somerset Street. Dates, Saturdays from January 24, 2015 through June 27, 2015. Time is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. 588, approve rejection of bids and authorization to re-advertise for Recreation Park reconstruction specification number 851-14. 589, approve award of contract with Hatch Motley Fowler LLC for 2015 miscellaneous supplemental engineering services. Specification number 868-14 RFP, not to exceed $50,000, fair and open. 590, approve amendment of resolution R061455, reason purchase uniforms and equipment for recruits graduating and entering the academy for the police department with Safety League Incorporated, doing business as Atlantic Tactical for work uniforms for the police department. Term is 12-month period commencing June 19, 2014, ending June 18, 2015. Specification number 373-14P. The amount is $6,800. Approval of this change will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the original contract. 591, approve professional service agreement with Innovative Data Solutions Incorporated, doing business as Power DMS Incorporated, for Power Suite subscription for the police department. Term February 23, 2015 through February 22, 2016. 1 year, not to exceed $5,788. 592, approve off-premise raffle at the Heldridge Hotel and Conference Center, 10 Livingston Avenue, New Brunswick, for State Theater Regional Arts Center in New Brunswick Incorporated. The date is Saturday, March 7, 2015, Sunday, March 8, 2015, Wednesday, March 18th, Friday, April 10th, Sunday, April 19th, Monday, April 27th, and Saturday, May 16th, all in 2015. 593, approve release of site reforms bond number 1805020 and site inspection fees in the amount of $3,639.58 to Recon Services LLC for Morel Street Student Housing, Block 80, Lot 7.01. 594, approve release of site performance bond number S0014627 and site inspection fee in the amount of $1,292.26 to Studio Home Builders LLC for 100 Hamilton Street, Block 47, Lot 73.01. 595, 595, approve relaxation of city ordinance and lane closure. Requested by VA Spats and Sons, reason sanitary sewer connection into an existing manhole on French Street to Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. Dates is Saturday, January 31st, 2015, and Sunday, February 1st, 2015. Alternate dates, Saturday and Sunday, February 7th and 8th, 2015, February 14th, 15th, February 21st, 22nd, all 2015. Time is 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. 596, approve rejection of bids and authorization to re-advertise for Railroad Avenue Pump Station Improvement, specification number 866-14. 597, approve amendment to resolution R 011431. Reason additional funds of $2,851.60 for payroll processing services in 2014 with Prime Point LLC for 2014 municipal payroll services. The amount is $2,851.60. 598, approve award of contract with B&W Construction Company of New Jersey for equipment and labor term 24-month period commencing January 22nd, 2015 and ending January 21st, 2017. Rebid specification number 39114PR, not to exceed $310,000. 599, approve award of contract for interpreters for municipal court with Judith E. Graysberg, Louis Ugarte, ASL Interpreter Referral Services Incorporated, Power Plus Translation Incorporated, Language Services Associates, Worldwide Language Services Incorporated, term 12-month period commencing January 22nd, 2015 and ending January 21st, 2016. Specification number 42315 RFP, not to exceed $25,700. 5100, approve request for use of city property requested by Garden State Track Club. The location, Goodwill Park and Pavilion for 5th annual the Road Relays Running Race. Date is Sunday, March 1st, 2015. Time is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. 501, approve resolution authorizing acceptance of execution of parks grant agreement with the County of Middlesex Cultural and Heritage Commission for art at City Hall. Amount received $1,400. 102, approve amendment of resolution R 031447, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance. Additional days needed to perform material work and the installation of pre-manufactured wall panels requested by New Brunswick Development Corporation. Reason, conduct construction-related activities at College Avenue, New Brunswick, Rutgers Island College, and School of Arts and Sciences. The dates are Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Monday through Friday evening from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., excluding holiday during the time period of January 24, 2015 to December 31st, 2015. That's it?
That's it. One discussion.
Okay, we have one item for discussion, which is sustainable Jersey grant application for development of natural resource inventory. That's it. Okay. Start the meeting now. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Escobar.
Here.
Council Vice President Fleming.
Here.
Councilmember Garlotti. Council President Egan.
Here. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time and place and conduct of all public meetings of the municipal council in the city of New Brunswick, has been filed with the city clerk, has been placed on the public bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the city of New Brunswick, namely the Home News and Tribune. We stand for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We just have a moment of silence for our men and women serving in our armed forces, for all our men and women in our armed forces that lost their lives, and also at this time for the people of Nigeria who had that massacre. Thank you. Can we get a motion for the minutes?
Motion.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Council Vice President Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti. Council President Egan.
Yes. Okay, we have ordinance on first reading. An ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinance of the city of New Brunswick, chapter 10, vehicles and traffic, chapter 10-12, traffic control regulations, section 10-12-210, schedule 21, mid-block crosswalk, George Street.
I move the ordinance setting down February 4th for public hearing, same date to be advertised.
Second?
Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Council Vice President Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Egan.
Yes. Okay, we have resolutions 536 to 102.
Just for the record.
Yes.
Mr. Council President, resolutions 56, 57, and 58 are being pulled. We had anticipated items sitting in there, but there are no corresponding resolutions. So we're pulling 56, 57, and 58.
Thank you. Would anybody from the public like to comment on any of these resolutions?
Good evening, Charles Prattville.
Good evening.
Is this on?
Yes, sir.
I have to first ask about the number 5, ends in 540, the arrangement for Mr. Hamilton. How much does the city spend on Mr. Hamilton every year?
Mr. Lockwood?
I don't know, we compensate him by salary at a value of $15,000. And I don't know what his 2014 billable activity would be. But for 2015, I think it'd be safe to say it's the $15,000 in salary plus the $30,000 PSA that you're about to act on.
And is that the same as last year's, 30,000?
I could
Go ahead, Mr.
I can tell you that, Mr. Egan, the PSA last year was 60,000. This has been reduced to 30,000 due to Mr. Hamilton's special counsel designation and theory that he'll be involved much less with performing city work.
Thank you.
Thank you. I also have to ask about the next one, the professional service agreement for Ms. Gaden. Does that include her role as the community liaison?
I don't think it does. I think that's a...
That is just a PSA for work performed by Ms. Gaden as an assistant city attorney.
Okay, but she's also paid a salary on top of that.
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me how much the salary
Her
is?
salary is 60,000.
30 plus 30,
Right.
not 60.
Total is 60.
Oh, total is 60,
Yes.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for clarifying. I want to ask about the Hatchmont McDonald engineering and support services for the water
What is
utility.
that, Mr. Bradley?
That would be number 16, ends in 551. What services do they provide, and is this the same amount as last year?
It is the same amount as last year, and they provide, on an annual basis, consulting advice on how to optimize the plant. They give us, in this contract, they're going to give us some project management services for the gravity filter project we're about to embark on, as well as the emergency generator project we're about to start as well.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask about the auditor, Samuel Klein and Company. How many years have they been doing the city's annual audit?
I don't know that. It's got to be 10 at least that I know of.
I couldn't give you the exact number, but it's greater than the 22 years that I've been here.
Okay. And just for the record, in those 22 years or 22 plus years, how many of those years did they identify in their audit problems with the New Brunswick police and court tickets?
Do we have that information?
I don't have it with me.
I think that's something...
Multiple times, though, I can tell you that.
Multiple times.
Multiple times, okay.
You probably know the answer. In fact,
It's
you
already-
offered it to me one night.
I don't know the exact number, but I
Okay.
did review them, and it was a lot more than led me to believe. So I just want to know how many, how frequent it is, and you know, I don't know, if they've been doing this for 22 years and they catch the same problem every year, why hasn't anything been done about it? That's kind of where I'm coming from.
It's a fair question. Mr. Lockwood, do we try to address that every year?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I guess whatever you're doing is not working, so it means something else. Can I ask about 36, ends in 571, the case against, I guess that's a city police officer. Can you just tell me, please, what is the nature of the case? What are the allegations?
Mr. Sherry?
Yes, is that the Jarvis case?
Yes,
you're
sir.
referring to? That case involves a pro se complaint by an inmate in the state penitentiary who is alleging that he was falsely arrested and prosecuted by not only New Brunswick police officers, but other officers in adjoining municipalities, and it's just newly filed.
Okay, is there any truth to that? Is there a reason to believe that this person was falsely arrested?
I'm reciting what his complaint alleges. I'm not, I haven't investigated the case, obviously. It's been sent out to defense counsel, and they'll investigate and defend the city and its employees appropriately.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm also concerned about that because that fits a pattern of people being falsely arrested. I do want to ask about the several different relaxation of the noise ordinance. Some of them say that people can start making noise at 7 a.m., for instance, number 51. But then the one right below it is a relaxation for a different project a few blocks away, and they don't get to start making noise till 8 a.m. So why is there a discrepancy there? Honestly, why can't we have these guys wait to do construction until at least 8 in the morning on the weekends?
Because most of the guys in construction their starting time is at 7 a.m. in the morning, and they work an 8-hour day usually till 3:30. So I can tell you that's one of the reasons why it starts at 7 a.m. Because mostly all the people doing that work, that's their normal starting time, is 7 a.m. The other one at 8 o'clock in the morning, I couldn't tell you the reason why that's.
I think we're just responding to their individual
This
requests.
is their request.
Okay. I understand that it's a type of job that starts early, but you don't necessarily have to make noise right when you start. So I would suggest that, going forward, you don't approve relaxation of the noise ordinance before 8 a.m. on the weekends, just for people's peace and quiet. Moving on, number 49 is something to do with the city engineer getting paid. Can you just explain that one?
What's the number? 584, 49?
Yes.
Professor Turner. Mr. Shammy?
Yeah, that particular resolution, I believe, applies to the schedule of hourly rate that the city engineer could bill out on land use matters. It's usually set every year, and that's the hourly rate that the city engineer bills out to third parties. I believe the next resolution deals with assistant city engineer on a DOT project, which is a similar concept.
So the third parties would be, for example,
Developer.
okay. Can you tell me how much ballpark per year the city engineer is paid by developers?
I have no idea. Those things are not within my parameters of knowledge.
He's not paid by the developer.
Oh, I'm sorry, well, maybe I misspoke. He's paid Glenn
Mr.
Patterson.
Patterson, can you help us out with this?
I think Mr. Cradible is familiar with the process that when a planning board application comes in for a site plan, that the applicant pays an escrow fee in there, and it also pays for the outside consultants, such as Mr. Bignell for the planning board. Mr. Goldman is the engineer for the board, and when he's dealing with those matters, he charges his hours against those escrow fees so that the city is not paying those costs, that the developer funds that escrow to pay those costs, so that you as a resident of New Brunswick are not picking up that cost.
Okay. Thank you. Number 53, Recreation Park, what's going on with the plan? Why is the bid being rejected?
Mr. Lockwood?
All the bids came in over budget.
Okay, so I'm assuming there'll be re-advertising. What is the timeframe for this actually? I mean, these changes have been talked about for going on 4 years now, right?
Mr. Loudon?
I can't predict, until there's an award, I can't predict what the construction schedule's gonna look like. We're as anxious to get it started as anyone.
Okay. Another Hatchmont McDonald is the next one. What is the supplemental, miscellaneous supplemental engineering services? That is another $50,000 for them?
Tom, can you handle that one?
Part of that project includes, they act as our licensed C4 operator for our collection system. They provide services to me for traffic studies that we may want to conduct on different intersections. They assist in any hydraulic review of sewer line repairs or anything else related to the sewer system. Just a number of services that they provide on a, if it's something that I can't handle or I'm too overloaded at the time, then we call on them to help us out.
Thank you for that. And just, is that the same amount as last year, not to exceed 50,000?
I think it was 47.5 last year.
And I believe that is all the questions I have on the resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Would anybody else from the public like to talk on the resolutions?
Yes, my name is Anthony Larabina, 20 Jefferson Avenue, here in New Brunswick. And I do have a question on the ordinance that you read on first reading. Where is that brought for?
We can't talk about that ordinance this evening. It's only just been introduced as a first reading. Next meeting, there'll be discussion from the public on that, when it's introduced for the second time.
Okay. Just the location of where that's going to be, though? Can I ask that, or no?
I can answer that if you'd like. It is very close to the intersection of George Street and College Avenue. It is a mid-block crosswalk that will connect the ramp coming off the John Lynch Bridge to the other side of the road, which is essentially Buckler Park. It's a county initiative. They've asked us to introduce the mid-block crosswalk.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else on the resolutions? Seeing none?
Move the resolutions?
Need a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Council Vice President Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Yes, but abstaining on 5, 6, 7.
So noted. Council President Egan.
Yes. Okay, we have items for discussion by the council, Sustainable Jersey Grant Application for Development of Natural Resource Inventory. So what are we discussing?
Well, if I may, Council President, this matter came to the agenda somewhat late in the week, and I understand that Ms. Fennick is here. Is advocating that the council adopt a resolution supporting this Sustainable Jersey or the Sustainable Jersey Small Grant Program application through PSE&G. Apparently, there's a lot of requirement relative to this particular grant that I, quite frankly, wasn't able to comprehend in a short amount of time due to my limited knowledge in the environmental background that I have. I know Mr. Patterson was asked to look into it, and he came up with a couple questions, well, maybe a few questions, more than a couple, that maybe Spencer could answer here. I know that the council is concerned relative to this being ready to be
Yes.
adopted, because once we commit to it, I know there's certain requirements that have to be met. So my understanding is the council has been supplied with some documentation that was submitted in connection with the grant. I know Mr. Patterson looked into it as well. Maybe we want to ask Ms. Fennick to answer some of those questions. Mr. Patterson give a 30-second summation of his findings.
Mr. Patterson?
I received a copy of the grant late on Friday afternoon and took a review of it and came up with a number of questions that seem to be outstanding in the grant application. The grant application is to do a natural resource inventory, which is something the city did probably about 22 years ago also. And this would document what all the natural resources in the city are, where the parks are, the lakes are, other environmental issues, types of flora and fauna in the city. Is that a good summary of it? So it's a good thing to do, and there's this grant available to do that. The application that was submitted looks like it's calling for a city contribution, just says municipal budget, and it's not clear where that's coming from. It's not in anyone's particular department, so we didn't know where that was supposed to be charged to. There's also funds in there for in-kind services to be provided, and it's unclear as to whether this was supposed to be just volunteers doing this, or this was city personnel. From the application's time or budget sheet that they have, it looks like it's supposed to be city personnel doing this, and it's not clearly identified who would be doing this. And it's also not identified as to which department would be responsible for managing the grant, because the grant application makes clear that it's the city's grant that is being made, and that the city is responsible for making it and then also doing the reporting, because the city does not get the final 50% of the grant until after all the reporting is done, after the project is complete. So those were essentially the questions that we have.
If I may, I read it also. I think it's a great project, but I wasn't clear when I read the grant in some of the questions that Mr. Patterson had, and who is the lead investigator, who will be in charge. All of those questions, the money, the funding, important questions that we need to have and we don't have at this point. But if you could provide us some of that information, it would be helpful.
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Heather Fennick. I'm a 17-year resident of the city of New Brunswick, and I've been involved with the New Brunswick Environmental Commission since 2011, and with the Green Team since about that time, but there was a hiatus period for the Green Team, and we're back at Green Team activities. This grant is submitted by both of those entities. So the team to develop the grant would be comprised of members of the Environmental Commission and of the Green Team. A significant amount of this work has been done or will be done as part of grants that have been secured already, including an ANJEC grant secured to develop accounting essentially of the parks and gardens in the municipality, and that is coming to completion. We just had a meeting last night and a presentation on that. Met with Mike Montanez, and he's comfortable with the bulk of the materials that we've prepared. Mark Siegel has provided comments, as has Glenn Patterson, regarding the components submitted for that. We also, the Environmental Commission also worked with the city to submit and secure a, it's called a Municipal Public Access Plan Coastal Vulnerability Assessment grant. That's a $25,000 grant that's being administered or coordinated by the Rutgers, I'm going to botch the name, it's the, essentially the Sustainable Raritan Group. It's called the Environmental Action Communications Group at the Blaustein School. They are administering that grant, and as part of that are collecting a significant amount of the information required as part of a natural resources inventory as well. The Environmental Commission has been developing capacity to conduct these types of assessments over the last few years. With the addition of the Green Team, that also has some stars on it, folks who have very good understanding of environmental issues and also sort of deep reach into access to interns and other folks. We're confident that the bulk of the in-kind services provided can be accommodated through our volunteer efforts on the Green Team and the Environmental Commission. We have spoken with Jeff Crum, who is also the Planning Board liaison for the Environmental Commission, and I believe he is going to be the project lead for this effort. Regarding the additional municipal budget component, I have not had a chance to sit down or speak with Glenn regarding some of that. That would be in part time from you folks for accessing and building on the 20, I guess, prior natural resource inventory. So this is essentially an update. The grant is for securing the services of a professional consultant to work with us, to not only work with us to develop it for use by the EC, the Green Team, and the Planning Board and the City Planning Office, but also for distribution to the public, hopefully on the website. There are, on the city municipal website, there are hundreds of updated natural resource inventories on file in the state with the Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions. There are 84 that have recently been completed as part of the Sustainable Jersey process. 5 of those are in Middlesex County. We're confident that, working with some of these municipalities to share information about process, that we can streamline the effort to come to a comprehensive set of or inventory of materials.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
But again, you have no secure who will be the budget, where is the money coming from, who will be in charge of making, the consultant who's going to be hiring the consultant.
Right, so,
those
yes.
are the details that are very important.
Well, my understanding is that we have to go through a bidding process for any consultant hired. And that is something that we've talked about in prior grant applications with the city about doing that. We're assuming that it would be a similar process, just going through seeking a consultant. We have a grant deadline of February 1, and a resolution from the City Council in support of this grant needs to be passed and provided prior to that date to be included as part of the grant package. So that's, we are up against that timeframe.
Why did it get to us so late if it had this February 1st deadline? We have questions that aren't answered by people in the administration and by council members that aren't, that want to table this tonight. And now you come with a deadline of February 1st. I mean, the grants, they sound great, what you're talking about, but I still think that we need time to take a look at this more. So I think we're gonna have to table this, or I'm gonna recommend that we table this at this time.
When is the next cycle? Because I think it's a great thing.
It's a year from now. Unfortunately, it's a year from now, and the part of the issue is that you want freshness of data, and we have these fresh data sources right now through the Municipal Public Access Plan, through the CDA, through the most recent
So you're saying you have to wait a whole year for it?
That's correct. It's only offered once a year.
What's everybody's pleasure here? I mean,
Well, I think it's a great, but again, I'm not comfortable with the details of it, especially. I know it's volunteers, and I know it's hard work. And I was looking at some of the examples that they have, and these are being graduate students who are doing a thesis. Is this doing these reports? So I think it's very comprehensive, and I would love to see it. But I'm still not clear about the money, who's going to be in charge, and those are really main points that we need to have an answer in order to feel comfortable to say, yes, let's go for it, in my opinion.
Right. Well, we have not had an opportunity to sit down with the mayor's office to discuss this in greater detail. So unfortunately, we do not have that information for you.
Mr. Patterson, can I ask you a question? Tell us what as council, what do you think that we should move on this, or do you think we should to table this? Are we going to lose this for a whole year?
I don't know. I know they do have subsequent funding rounds, and I don't know if there's any other grants out there that might also be able to fund this. Just the concerns that I raised were that it's not clear who's responsible for this. I mean, these funds would not go to the Environmental Commission. They come to the city. They would have to go through a department. It's a department that's going to be going out and doing to hire the consultant, to pay the bills, and to do the reporting. And it's just not clear who that is. I'm sure it's something we can sit down and work with the Environmental Commission to try to identify. Maybe we can do it for the subsequent round, or try to identify some other funds out there to do it. It's not a bad idea to have a natural resource inventory. I think, as Ms. Fennick said, a number of towns have them. We had one in the past, but there's something that needs to get updated on a regular basis also. So once you do one, you don't want to let it go, for another 20 years before you do an update.
They just add to that, it's often the case that it's funded completely through the municipal budget, and that there is not, in fact, a significant volunteer contribution. So just wanted to say that there are volunteers willing to help contribute right now. But,
Any recommendation? Anybody want to do? Anybody want to make a motion?
I just think it's a little too late. I have too many questions that are going on, especially from the city.
Okay.
And I'm not sure exactly where the $3,800 is still coming from.
So all those in favor of tabling, please say aye.
There was no motion.
Make a motion to table it?
You don't really need a motion, it's on for discussion only.
Okay. Thank you.
But please do continue, because I think it's a great thing that just if we have the answers to those questions, I think it's a great thing that we should
But
do.
I'd also like to encourage, I don't know if this is the place to bring this up, but also that perhaps a budget item be put into your accounting for development of this document, because it's really a valuable tool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make it clear that we didn't need a motion. This is only an item that was up for discussion tonight. Just to make the public know, it was only an item up for discussion. Okay, well, now with the public portion of the meeting, would anybody like to address the council at this time?
Hi, yes, my name is Danielle Moore. I live at 188 Rutledge Street. I'm here for two reasons. That's dealing with crossing guards and security codes. I know it's been 2 weeks since the kids have been in the new Red Shaw school. So that should have gave the city, the Board of Education, and the New Brunswick Police Department to have everything under control with crossing our children. That was where last Wednesday, that was the 14th, I realized something very wonderful. That was on the corner of Livingston and Comstock, where you had two crossing guards, one on each side. Wow, I say that was the best thing, but I realized next day, Thursday, they wasn't doing it, so it was only one-time thing. And as of Thursday, that's where a witness of a child running straight across the street, and then he was so close, if we didn't scare him, scream, he would have got hit. It wasn't the crossing guard's fault. I spoke to the Red Shaw School, where they also need to send letters out to the parents about their kids following the rules of the crossing guards, because I realized at the beginning of the year, each one of them told the kids the rules. Okay, you do not cross without my signal. But then that was Friday afternoon, that was the 16th. You had no crossing guards on the corner of Livingston and Comstock or Livingston and Delavan. The police department was called. They didn't respond to almost all the kids were gone. Being the security guard, I took the honor to cross the kids. You had a couple of officers ride by. What did they do? Keep riding by. It's like, wow, they don't care for our children, the safety of our kids. As a parent, my child is 8 years old, but I know I still hold my child's hand. You have some parents who do not do that, but I realize a lot of these streets aren't safe for these kids to cross. But at this moment, I hope the city, the Board of Education, and the police department can make someone come around and check to see if the crossing guard is out. They're on duty at 3 o'clock. The kids don't get out until 3:15. Make sure the crossing guards are on the corner before the kids are dismissed.
Okay.
And then as I witnessed another thing I saw, okay, if the kids are coming to school, crossing to go to Red Shaw, where the crossing guards are on the other side of the corner towards Joyce Cummer Avenue. But I'm realizing if the kids are getting out of school, being released, I say the crossing guards to be on the corner with the children as they're crossing Livingston Avenue. That way, as the kids come out of school, you won't have a chance of a child running out, going across Livingston. If the crossing guard has said, okay, there, do you understand what I'm saying?
You
No, do you understand what I'm saying?
hear Next to me?
Yeah, either one of you,
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah.
Well, I hear someone said no, that they don't understand what I'm saying.
Oh, I didn't hear
Due to where the crossing guards to be on the side of Redshaw School as the kids are getting out of school. On the corner. That way no child should run across the street. Like I said, they're wonderful crossing guards. I'm not saying any of the crossing guards are bad. It's not their fault. Like I said, just need to tell them, the parents need to take action too. And then another issue that I'm wondering, I realized with a lot of these places that have security codes, I realized where you have to put in a code to go into a building. I realized, why are you allowing so many, it's good to have security, but one thing that I saw within the past week where it was a call that was made, wow, the firemen couldn't get in. I seen before, ambulance couldn't get in.
What building is that, man?
Actually, I forget what do you call them, the townhouses or condos on the corner of Rutgers and Remsen. Where they said possible what the gate had to be knocked down for someone to get in there. Okay, even with the building that I stay at, where we had a pipe bust, but the fireman wasn't able to get in. But my point is, say someone's having a heart attack or something, where you're only able to call 911 and you cannot reach to go put in your code. What can you do about that?
Well, ma'am, it's up to the building. I mean, the building people, whoever's in charge of that building, should be, the first thing you should do is be giving the fire department, they should have the codes. You know, those codes should be given to them. I don't know why they wouldn't give them to emergency personnel, you know, to get into the building.
So each building, you're saying the owner is should report it to the fire department, ambulance, police department?
I would think that would be the right thing to do, so in case of an emergency, people can get in there for the cases that you just spoke of. I mean, if they have a locked security gate and they don't know the code, I mean, what's the alternative?
Well, like I said, that was with rental, the condos, that was where I know within last year, that was where they had to rush in and break the gate to get in there to help someone.
Okay. I don't know if they're required by law to have that done, if there's a security.
I know it's a matter of private property
Yeah,
owner,
that's
and their
what my
practice,
point
yeah.
is. You know,
I've heard of situations where the fire department just busts down the gate and go right through it.
yeah, I mean, it's private property, and it's prudent for the people who own the property and the people that live in the property that I would call up the fire department and say, hey, if there's a fire in my building, this is the code to get in.
Well, how about the city takes action and makes sure
I just asked
that,
him if legally we can do that, and I guess we're gonna have, I don't think we can.
I'll look into it.
Private property, we will look into it, but, you know, it's just private property, you know, it's not a city-owned property or anything, it's private property, so they're welcome to have a fence and security if they so do choose.
I think, Mr.
Yeah.
I think the tenants also should get to the building landlord. If
Right.
they're that concerned, to make sure that it's
Absolutely.
on file down to the police department so they can give that out real quick.
Yes, Director.
What we tried to persuade the owners to do is to put a gate in that's activated by the sirens on the truck. To pull up, hit the sirens, and they open.
Ms. Monroe, I hate you running out of time.
so, okay, like I said, with both things, I hope the
Okay.
city looks into.
Okay, and we'll speak to the police department in regards to the crossing guard and things that we spoke about.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address the council this evening?
Good evening once again, Charles Cradaville from New Brunswick. I'm very disappointed in my city council tonight. Somebody came here with a good idea, that there's a deadline, and this is the exact type of thing that you would rush through. And in fact, in the past, when myself and others have come to you and said, please hold this, there's no need to pass this tonight, it needs a little more, a second look, 3 more questions need to be answered, and you don't do that for the people. But tonight, when somebody good comes along and wants to do something good, all of a sudden the city council does due diligence. And you've got a lot of questions that need to be answered, and if we have to leave money on the table and wait another year to get the grant, we'll do that. I think that was really foolish, and based on how you've acted in the past, it doesn't really look good. I also think that you, sir, Council President, owe me an apology, and Councilmember Escobar owes me an apology. At the last council meeting, I rose in opposition to an appointment you were going to approve, and I raised some concerns politely. I more or less read directly from a letter that I submitted to the mayor's office, and you, sir, interrupted me. And you, sir, said that I was slandering the appointee. And then the appointee got up here and actually slandered me and said outrageous things, and you sat there and didn't say a word, and then you appointed him to a position of power. So the previous council president, was Escobar, had a policy of no personal attacks at the council meetings. It's clear that your policy is different. Your policy is no personal attacks unless you like the attack, unless it's attacking a person that you would like to see attacked. And I think that you treated both of the people who rose and spoke to you differently, and it reveals your true motivations, and it reveals that you do not care about the concerns I'm bringing. You don't care what the people want. You care what the mayor wants. And when the mayor's appointee gets up here, you sit there quietly and allow him to slander citizens, residents of the city. And former Council President Escobar said something not true. She said she had received no complaints about that appointee. Is that in fact the case?
Like I spoke to you, spoke to me after the meeting, and I told you that I would check that. To the best of my recollection, we did not. You sent me a text the next morning, and I checked, and I said I will check, and I told you on November 19th, we all received a letter from your girlfriend saying that she didn't agree with the appointment. She was the only one, your girlfriend was saying. And I text you back, and I said, Mr. Carter, I stand corrected. I did receive an email from her stating that she opposed the appointment of the, and I said that I will give you an apology in public, because I told you that also, right? Didn't I?
Yeah, and I'm just waiting for the apology.
So again, I stand corrected, and I apologize for not having, remembering that November 19th, your girlfriend did oppose the appointment of Mr. Kaplan to the rent control.
Thank you for the apology. It takes a big person to apologize. Council President, are you up for it?
I didn't do anything wrong, Mr. Croswell. Those are your recollections of the meeting. I interpret them a little bit differently. Thank you.
It's on video. Can you tell me how many housing inspectors were suspended last year?
Mr. Lockland?
I believe Mr. Mahoney was suspended last year, and Mr. Belafronte was suspended last year for different reasons.
That would be a total of 2?
Off the top of my head, yes, that's what my answer would be.
And I think we all know why Mr. Mahoney was suspended. Can you say for the record why Mr. Belafronte was suspended?
Why? You don't know why?
I've heard different things that previously said.
Well, from my understanding, I believe he was suspended for a racial slur. Correct me if go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He was suspended as a result of disciplinary action taken by his supervisors in the city. It's not appropriate for us to discuss Mr. Belafonte's personnel matters in a public meeting, especially a meeting that he's not invited to and not agreeable to having them discussed. So that's the extent of the detail that we could provide you.
Is it true he was taking bribes from landlords?
I can't answer that.
Is he still on the payroll?
Is he still employed by the city, Mr. Lockland?
He's employed by the city. You know that Mr. Cradwell, every time he asks for an open request on people's salaries, you see his name there. He works in the water utility. We've said that a number of times in this
Thank you.
room.
The answer is yes.
Okay, sometimes things change, that's why I asked multiple times. Can you tell me why Michael Baird was suspended?
Michael who?
Baird, B-A-I-R-D, Michael Carlton Baird.
In what department is he working?
I don't know.
Okay. Mr. Lockland?
I don't know why he was suspended.
Is
I
it true
believe he was a public communications dispatcher, yes. I don't know why he was suspended.
Captain Miller, do you know why he was suspended? I don't know why he was suspended. Okay.
Is it true he was suspended for 6 weeks?
know the answers to these questions, right?
No, I know he was suspended, I want to know why.
No one knows the information, but they'll get it for it. It's a personnel matter. I'm sure they can get you the information.
We've already provided the information through an OPA request. Mr. Craddock does have the information. It did indicate when he was suspended, and when, I believe it also indicated when he returned to work. I don't know the reason for his suspension.
But if I could just reiterate once again, the facts and circumstances giving rise to the disciplinary action, suspension, is not something that could be publicly discussed.
Thank you.
Is Ramon Dominguez currently suspended?
I'm not sure who that is.
You don't know?
I think it's a gentleman from the Parks Department, but I'm not sure who that, I'm not clear on who that is.
Shouldn't the business administrator know?
Should he know?
Are you satisfied with that answer, that this man may or may not be suspended, and we're not sure where he works?
I'm satisfied with his honest answer. I'm sure he's not hiding from us. If he'll find out for us. Yeah, he deals with a lot of different people in the city, and some things he just doesn't remember. So I'll take him for his word that he'll find out for
I
us.
could cure the question in about 15 minutes, but forgive me, there's 650 full-time employees and another
I
200
get it.
part-time,
I get it.
and sometimes my memory gets a little fuzzy, excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Lockwood. Any other questions, Mr. Craddock?
Yes, sir. I'd like to ask, how many vehicles were struck by city vehicles in 2014?
How many city vehicles were struck by other city vehicles?
How many civilian, or how many vehicles, period, were struck by city vehicles?
I don't think anybody has the answer to that this evening, Mr. Craddock. Does anybody have the answer to that question? Captain Miller?
Okay,
You know the answer?
I think that the number is a double-digit number, and that's concerning. And I've asked about these things before, and it's been dismissed. And in fact, people told me that on February 10th, nobody was hit by a city truck, despite the fact that there's a claim with the Middlesex County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund that says on February 10th, a person, a vehicle or a person, it's not clear, was struck by a city vehicle.
And someone told you that that did not happen?
Yeah, the former council president said that.
When I asked somebody from the city, because I would have known the answer to that unless we asked.
Mr. Craddock, we'll get to the answers. If someone gave you misinformation on something like that, and you have proof that there was an accident, then we're wrong, and it did happen. But until that, I don't know if it did happen or didn't happen.
This is sort of what I'm talking about. You really dug into the person who was trying to bring money to the city, and
We talked about that already. Can you move on, please? I didn't dig into anybody.
you really were listen.
And what?
You asked a lot of questions about that. You're not asking any questions about people getting hit by vehicles and people being suspended, and you gave a hard time to her. You did. You said, why didn't you bring this to us sooner?
Once again, you have a different interpretation of things in the room than I do. Please go on, sir. Thank you.
Is anyone here familiar with the city's code of ethics?
Is anyone, yes,
I
Mr. Shammy?
can't quote track, chapter, and verse, but I know there's a code of ethics, and I know it's in effect, and I know it's being utilized in connection with Mr. Cradable's ethics matter, which is pending before the ethics committee.
And under the operating procedures, how many votes are required to find someone has violated the code?
I couldn't answer that question without going back and looking at the,
We'd have to look that information up, Mr. Craddock.
And is it true that the ethics hearings are supposed to be recorded or transcribed?
I wouldn't.
again, I can't verify one way or another without going back and looking at the ordinance and the procedure.
Was the most recent ethics hearing recorded or transcribed?
I don't know.
I wasn't there. I could certainly find out.
We can find out for you. There's nobody here that can answer to that question.
So I only have 10 seconds left, and if you could just bear with me, give me a
Sure.
little extra time. I do want to
My pleasure.
tell you why I'm concerned. I'm very concerned that the man you hired to serve as the special counsel to the ethics board Mr. Vignolo, has been giving that board bad advice. It's plain and simple in the written operating procedures that it requires a 2/3 vote for someone to be found guilty. He told the board otherwise. He said, well, we only have 5 members, so we're going to do 3 out of 5, which is 60%, not 2/3. And I raised that argument, even though it would help the person who I had filed the complaint against. But Mr. Vignolo did not want to hear it. He did not allow any objections to be raised, and he continued to mislead the board and give them bad advice. The operating procedures also provide that written questions need to be submitted. The board's supposed to solicit written questions. That was not done. Also, I don't believe that there was a recording made of the hearing, and that is plain and simple in the ethics procedures. I also am concerned that Mr. Hamilton was present. Mr. Hamilton did what I would term a David Sampson recusal. He sat there the whole time, pretended he wasn't involved in it, but he was. He was there, and he was whispering to Mr. Vignolo at one point, either you're going to replace Mr. Hamilton with Mr. Vignolo and they're going to have the proper attorney, or you're not. And what we had Thursday night in this room was a circus. It was an absolute joke. And for anyone who cares about ethics, it really makes the city look bad. And I think that the ethics board needs to to fire Mr. Vignolo and get a real attorney that's going to represent them and give them accurate advice. And hopefully, in future ethics hearings, Mr. Vignolo will not be involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prattle. Anyone else like to address the council at this time?
Yes. Hi, I'm Anthony Larabina. How you doing? I'm all right, thank you. How are you, Council President? I drove down French Street on Thursday after being at the county meeting, and I can tell you I can see War Memorial Park from about 3 blocks away. Thank you so much. It looks fantastic over there. Really brightens it up. It looks nice at night now. It doesn't look intimidating or anything like that. It's very bright. I wish more parts of the city could be as lit up as that one park, but it is bright. There are a lot of lights in there, and they're all on. What was the problem? Were all the bulbs burnt out, or was this one fuse that controlled the whole thing?
I don't know what the actual problem was. I know PSE&G went there and they fixed all the problems that were there.
Fantastic, looks great.
Thank you.
So I have some questions about the water utility, just for a couple of minutes here. So I know you guys approved 5% raise in the rates in the sewage last, I guess, December, the last council.
Right.
And I understand that cutting costs is another way we can generate some revenue. So I received my quarterly bill between December's meeting and now, and I'm sure most everybody in the room did.
The water and sewer bill?
Yes, I did,
Yeah.
yes. And it's printed on a nice little piece of paper. Do we get a cut rate on the postage that we have to pay for all of those little pieces of paper that get delivered, or does somebody hand deliver them, or is it mail and it's full postage paid?
You get a rate, I think on a postcard like that, I think it's a reduced rate, I'm not sure, but who would know that answer, if we get a reduced rate?
Tom Boylan, our billing collector,
We'll get that answer.
supervisor would know that.
I know if you mail a postcard, I think it's less money, right?
Right, but it still costs money.
Yeah. it's-
Right, paper still costs
Yeah.
money, the ink costs money.
Right.
I know for PSE&G, I never see a bill from PSE&G. I really kind of even don't know when they take the money. I know they have a $400 limit a month, and they can kind of pull money as they see fit out of my checking account for whatever I've used. If we could try to do that with the water utility here in New Brunswick, that might save us some money. And it might also give you the opportunity as government to give back maybe some of the 5% increase if we did get a net savings out of it. I know some of the argument against raising the rates for 3 years was that doesn't come back.
So the problem with paperless is definitely an up-and-coming thing, but some people are so set in their ways,
Oh, I understand.
old-time people, that, they want that paper bill. Some people don't have computers, some people don't have access to the internet and all those other things. that go along with doing what you want to do, but we'll certainly look into it. I mean, it's
And if we
definitely,
could
it's definitely the future.
You know, something, you know, do a mix. Some people want to keep their paper, they don't have to sign up for the paperless. I know my bank, you know, it's both ways type of thing.
Take a look at it.
Thank you, I greatly appreciate it, Council President. Thank you so much. That's all I
Anyone
have.
else? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello, good evening, Council. My name is Nick Germer. I'm the chairman of NJPIRG student chapters at Rutgers University, and I also am studying accounting and a junior. NJPIRG, for those of you who don't know, is a student-run nonprofit that works on issues from registering voters to fighting poverty. So this semester, one of our lead campaigns is involving solar initiatives. And we're very impressed with all the initiatives that the city has done and that the state of New Jersey has done, making New Jersey a clear leader in solar power initiatives. And we're actually ranked number 3rd in the country, just falling behind states like California and Arizona. You would think Texas and Florida would beat us, but we're miles ahead of them. So we want to continue to be the leader in solar energy. There's still a lot of concerns with air quality and global warming issues that are coming up, so we want to continue to be the leader, and we are looking forward to working closely with the city and with Rutgers University to expand projects or continue our great work on that. So I hope I can work with some of you council members and talk about our campaign and other issues whenever we're available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just will say that we just had a brand new ribbon cutting for Red Shaw School. That school has solar panels on the top of the roof, and I think about 5 or 6 schools all have solar panels. A couple of parking garages in New Brunswick, and you're right, New Jersey is probably 2 or 3 as far as solar. California being number 1. But we are doing our part here in New Brunswick and hope to do more in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Clement.
I just want to thank everybody who came out. We had a few events over the weekend that were very positive events for the city. The first one occurred on Thursday night, which was, there was a celebration for Dr. Martin Luther King. We actually did it on the day of his actual birthday and not the federal holiday. We had several people come out. There was speeches, there was a candle lighting, and I think one of the highlights of the night was when the mayor and Mr. James Neal lit the Brotherhood candle together. You know, so people saw that picture and they were like, wow, you know. I mean, knowing that, you know, anybody, when you want to work together, anybody can come together to put aside their differences to work for a common cause. That was a very powerful event that night. Also, there was a lot of children in the room. We had Mr. Neal. He could probably come to the future meeting and tell you about it, where there was a display of the history of events in the city. He has a collage like going back 25, 30 years, where, you know, you see some of the faces are familiar, some of the faces you don't really recognize anymore, but he just had a history of a collage of the city. It just shows what vision can do and what direction we're going in. You know, there's going to be a lot of other events circling around. You know, we started last year when we dedicated the corner. We're doing a yearly celebration now. We're going to bring it before the council. That was a very positive event. Also on Monday, the Masonic Temple, there was another event in celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King. Former Councilmember Bobby Brown was the host of it. And a lot of people in the community came out, and we just asked that everybody, like, it's a yearly event that they give. And it's people from the community. I mean, it was so proud. Like, they start with a 9 a.m. breakfast, then they do the program at 11. You know, it was a very positive event. And Council President just touched on it. Yesterday was the ribbon cutting for the Red Shaw School. You know, we talked about the solar panels, but I was encouraged, because as an educator, I was encouraged to see the enthusiasm on the kids' faces when we were walking through. They literally had a gauntlet, you know, walking through, and they were so excited, talking about how much they love their new school and stuff like that. And there are positive things going on in the city, and I think it said, I can't remember what the sign said, but they talk about, that's the future right there. You see the future in those kids' faces, and the event that occurred yesterday. What was it?
Through the door walks the future.
Yeah, through the doors walks the future. And like I said, that's our goal. We have a brand new high school. We have a brand new Red Shaw School. Our goal is, like we talked about, I think they talked about, we need more of them. We need more of them. But not just that, it's not just what about that you do on the outside, it's what goes on the inside. And we're working constantly to improve that. I know a lot of people want to put put the education down in the city, but what I saw yesterday, that was a positive step, for the future. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Fleming. Yes.
I just want to say real quick, I just want to thank Brianna and Jennifer Bradshaw, because some of these council meetings, they're taking notes of some of the things, and they have taken action right away in the same night, especially with the PSCNE issue. Right away, they took care of it, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for taking the initiative.
Yes.
And making us have good results and making us look good when you take on those tasks. So I want to thank you.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar.
Yes.
Council Vice President Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Egan.
Yes.